A very good morning, dear professors, lecturers, and our beloved students. I'm Tasha here. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We truly appreciate you taking your time off your busy schedule to join us in this beautiful Sunday morning. We are overwhelmed with more than 500 registration, not only from Malaysia, but also from India, Indonesia, Australia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, South Africa, Singapore, Thailand, Kuwait, United States, Yemen, Taiwan, and also from Afghanistan. Thank you for your support and make this webinar possible today. Before we kick off with our speakers, a few quick reminders so that we could learn and enjoy today's webinar without much interruptions. Please remember to mute your mic so that your secrets are not being heard by all of us. Please do keep calm and stay connected in the event that we have an internet interruptions. Kindly check on your microphones and speaker setting in case if you can't hear our speaker's voice. You can check on the more option button with three horizontal dots, which located in between the chat button and cross button in red. Or else, if you can't solve the problem, you can right away drop message in our chat box and our technical team will guide you. We will randomly select 88 students who register for our webinar today to entitle a special gift at the end of our webinar. Let me to clarify everyone on how are we going to select the 88 lucky winners. All the students need to register for our webinar today and manage to check into our webinar by 10:15 a.m. and present till the end of the webinar, then only you'll be qualified to become one of the 88 lucky winners. If you manage to collect the referral point, then it will be an advantage for you to be one of the lucky winner. Let's say if you are already registered to a webinar but did not manage to check in by 10:15 a.m., then you are not qualified for the draw. And at the same time, if you collect a lot of referral points but did not turn up, still you are not qualified for the draw. So the overall process will be like this. You need to register, check in by 10:15 a.m. and present till the end of webinar, then only you'll be qualified to become one of the 88 lucky winners. I believe everyone clear on this draw process. Last but not least, if you have any question during the webinar and you want to ask the question with the speaker, kindly drop your question in our chat box. We will analyze the questions and we will bring it to our speakers at the end of the sharing section. So now I will invite Mr. Michael Lai to moderate and introduce our wonderful speakers this morning. Over to you, Mr. Michael Lai.
Thank you, Tasha. That's a virtual clap. Welcome, yeah, on the webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. A very beautiful Sunday morning to everyone who is joining us today, and especially to our two wonderful speakers, yeah, Ms. Joanne Lam as well as Mr. John Chin. We truly appreciate both of them taking their precious time, especially on a Sunday morning, to share with our students. And also, I believe there's probably some lecturers and professors in the group as well. Welcome. Yeah, so really appreciate our speakers taking their time voluntary to share with everyone so that we all can help to prepare our next generations, which is the fundamental foundation of any countries, much better and more industry relevant, as well as industry ready. So with that, let me quickly just do a quick introductions for both our wonderful speaker in terms of their background. Number one is Ms. Joanne Lam. Joanne is currently the senior HR business partner for BAT Expat Service Center, yeah, and which is the global business services unit for British American Tobacco Group. Her role is to partner with senior stakeholders in delivering strategic human resources solutions aligned to the company's short and long-term goals. She has a total of more than 20 years of working experience with 15 years in human resources management and 5 years in the IT management field. And having completed a degree in business IT and a master degree in management information system. She's pretty technical actually, yeah. And she worked in IT management roles. She eventually found her passion in human resources. So that is a clue for the students as well. Where you start and where you are right now is important, but it's not as important where you want to go, right? So as you can see, Miss Joanne Lam started with IT, but ended up with a passion in human resources. And she joined British American Tobacco in year 2000, which is, well, 20 years ago, right? And has held various roles, including head of HR, marketing, head of HR supply chain, and also supply chain for BAT Malaysia, and a regional talent insights role in Hong Kong. So good thing about working for multinational, as you all can see and hear, is that she actually have the opportunity to work in different countries and play her role in different countries as well. And her passion are in the areas of leadership and talent development. That's why all the students, that's why you're here. You all are the future and the talent for any country, right? And so her passion also is in HR analytics, yeah, about data, about not just about hunch feeling, and also rewards and remuneration. Some of this word may not make sense to you, but please ask your ask Ms. Joanne Lam, ask Mr. John Chin as much questions as you have. If there are any terms, any areas when they share with you, you're not very clear about, yeah? Learn how to ask good questions, because only when you ask good questions, you get good answer. That's one of the capabilities and competency that I think the industry will love to see from the students as well and from the future generation. And when she's not busy with her work, she enjoys being in the outdoors, hiking and scaling mountains. So probably we can ask her later whether she has done Mount Kinabalu yet, right, Joanne? Okay.
Yes, I have.
Good, good, very good. All right, let me just do a quick introduction for Mr. John Chin. Yeah. John has been with MBank Bharat since 2017, and currently he's managing the employer branding, graduates programs. He's the right person to talk to. Yeah, if you do want to get into the banking industry, talent management, as well as the learning and development operation department. Whole lots. Right, both Ms. Joanne Lam and also Mr. John Chin has a lot under their belt and many years experience as well. And prior to him joining MBank, he was working with a service culture transformation consultancy with over 9 years of experience in change management. Yeah, so those are the words. If you don't understand very well, no issue at all. Please ask Mr. John Chin what are those about, and how do you need to prepare yourself better, right? You may, because the first job, maybe they'll put you in change management. I don't know. Those are things you can ask. Project management, as well as visual instructional design and learn tech. And those are the words that I also need to ask Mr. John Chin, right? A little bit more. What is it all about? Yeah. Okay. And he aims to create a strong connection between employers and candidates while creating a clear path for the young talents to have an exceptional chance to reach their future career goals. So you all can see both of them are really passionate about developing the talents and developing the students to be the future of the companies and the future of the country. So with that, let's give a big round of applause again to Mr. John Chin and Ms. Joanne Lam, yeah, for joining us. Okay. All right, at least we have the virtual clap, yeah? Okay, let's have more fun, yeah? I guess it's a Sunday morning, right? I mean, I'm sure Mr. John Chin and Ms. Joanne Lam will be more relaxed as well. So don't be this is not a lecture, this is a sharing sessions from their 20 over years of experience, yeah? Whatever years of experience they have with you, not just as a HR professions, but also as someone your senior who has gone through the journey themselves, right? So please ask your questions away. Don't be shy. And in fact, that is a very important one of the important qualities that every students need to prepare yourself and as well, right? So with that, I will invite first and foremost Ms. Joanne Lam to actually share her opening thoughts in terms of the topic. What do companies look for in fresh graduates? Or she can actually share whatever she wants to share at this point in time. And along the way, we'll definitely get into your questions as well. We love to have as many questions as possible from you because this session is for you, not for me, not for Ms. Joanne Lam, not for Mr. John Chin. All right. So over to you, Joanne. Your floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here to share, what I've learned and what I've experienced so far in my career. So back to the topic of what do companies look for. So as you know, I come from British American Tobacco. It's a multinational company, and we are always looking for our next leader. Yeah. So when I hire fresh graduates, I'm not just looking for someone who can do the job for us in 1 or 2 years' time. I want to look for someone who is able to take on senior roles or even lead an organization at the end of the day. Yeah. So in order to do that, the top qualities that I look for normally in candidates, even fresh graduates, would be, are they resourceful or not? Yeah. So when I talk about resourcefulness, I look at people who are able to overcome challenges. Yeah. So I give you an example of a fresh graduate that comes into our company. Of course, we will provide onboarding, yeah, how to do your job, onboarding about the company. But after 2 weeks, to be honest, the fresh graduate will be on their own, right? The line manager will not have time to handhold all the way. So what I look for in fresh graduates would be, are they able to navigate themselves in the company after that 2 weeks? Yeah. If they don't know something, are they able to find the network to get the answers that they need and in order to deliver the job that they are being assigned to? So that's one, resourcefulness. Yeah. Number two is bringing your difference. So as a company like BAT, British American Tobacco, we have over 100 years of experience in the market. So most of our senior managers are also in the senior age. Yeah. So we've been doing things the same way over and over again. And we're not really very open, or we are not really very visible in terms of the new things in the market. So what we look for in fresh graduates is, can you come in the company and also change the culture of BAT? Yeah, we are very excited and we want to know what's new out there. So if you have something that you're very passionate about, it may not be something related to your job, but something that you can share with the organization. That's what we are always looking for. So this can be, creativity or your innovation. And are you a good agent of change? So when you come into a company, are you able to, influence your peers? Are you able to influence people who are probably older than you to, listen to what you have to share and at the end of the day, implement that change? So bring your difference. Yeah, we are not looking for a template like us to hire into the company. We are looking for something different. And last but not least, I cannot stress enough about leadership, right? So most of you are probably fresh graduates, which is fine. Yeah, you probably have not had the chance to lead a team or even manage a team. So what we're looking for is mostly, are you able to give us examples of what you did during your uni time? Yeah. So as much as possible, if you can, try to take part in clubs or societies in your university, take on some leadership role. I would love to hear examples of how you have led a society or a club to achieve its goals. Yeah, because I know that you don't have work experience. Or even if you can lead something outside of your uni, for example, a non-profit organization, if you can lead an initiative like feeding the homeless, for example, we'd love to hear how you actually participate in those initiatives and how you have made some changes, also influence, the society as a whole. So from me, that's the top 3 qualities that I look for in the new age fresh graduates that we bring into the company. I can't hear you, Michael.
I can't hear you, Michael. I think you're
Sorry,
mute.
sorry. I muted the mic. Sorry. Yeah. So, Joanne, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful insight and how your company actually look for the 3 areas that you're looking for in terms of fresh graduates. I think that really opens up the mind in terms of a lot of fresh graduates, because a lot of fresh graduates, they are really concerned. I don't have a lot of job work experience, which is given, right? Fresh graduate, you're not going to have a lot of job work experience. I don't have a lot of internship experience as well. So what do I do? So yeah, I think you hit right on the nail in terms of what they should do and prepare themselves better before they graduate, right? Even without a lot of internship, without actual job experience. So we'll go into that a lot more later. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So, students and audience, if you heard what Ms. Joanne Lam has shared, please jot it down and start putting up your questions along the way. We'll compile your questions because some of the questions could be similar in nature while being asked in different way. So we may not be able to get to all your questions, but we'll do as much as we can to answer most of the questions. All right. Thank you, Joanne, again. So with that, I will invite John, Mr. John Chin, to actually share his opening remarks on his thoughts about the topics as well as his experience and his journey as well. Over to you, John.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
So, really some great stuff coming from Joanne is from my point of view, as well as how our company moving forward. As you know, how this current COVID impacts how the market is, and how a lot of bank has already going really push forward in terms of the digital initiative, in terms of where we are. So certainly when things we are looking at are a lot different, but however, the fundamental of the qualities of the candidates that we are looking at is the same. There shouldn't be any different in terms of the quality. I agree with a lot of things with what Joanne said. So definitely, like how she say, what are some of the qualities that we look at in the candidates? For example, like when we say being resourceful, from my point of view, is more of the attitude of the candidates that when we interview them, when we see them, when they come into the interview room or come into the web interview, are they prepared? Do they actually does their homework? Do they know what sort of job that they're interviewed for? They are very important. For me, is really educational background is one thing, but your attitude towards how you approach the job, how you approach your opportunity is very, very important. Yeah, being resourceful, having the right attitude will change the opportunity that is given to you. Right. So if you prepare yourself well, you know what you want, then you will definitely do your homework, study it out, get to know like what's the background of the job, what do we look for, what other requirements, and not only during the interview, when you get into the job, you will be proactive. You will know what you want to do. You will go the extra miles to perform rather than waiting for someone to give you the instructions. So the attitude is really, really one of the key elements of what we look at in the candidate. As for some of other things that we look at, as well as like very, very important stuff like the leadership ability, like how Joanne says it. Yeah, I do see that when you come into the interview and when you relate some of the experience that you have in the school, I tend to have a very repetitive scripted how to say a scripted experience, like I've done this A B C and all that. I as a someone who interview fresh graduates, this is really not something that I want to hear. I want to know like what sort of experience you have done, what sort of things you have done. It could be that you may not be leading a team, but what you contribute to the team, change yourself as a leadership as well. Leaders does not necessarily be the front person who leads, but it can be the people who is at the side to provide other people to do well as well. There are different types of leadership. So I am more excited to hear about what they have done, what are some experiences they have they experienced during the school time, and what are some of the great stuff they do, and how they tackle the situations. These are more of the things that we would like to hear, and not scripted a scripted a storyline of how you've done in the school. I make change. I'm a team player. So right, Joanne, this is practically
Yes.
I would say I'm a team player. I lead a team, and I'm
Yeah.
so
And most of them, they say, things like I face challenges that my, project team is not doing their part in the project. I don't want to hear all that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
different.
it will be that sort of thing. Yeah, scripted storyline is a no. Your presence in the interview is very, very important. You only have that few moments with the person who interview you, with the hiring manager. It's important that you look your part. You are prepared. You don't come into the interview in the sweaty situations. You dry yourself up, you look good, you look fresh. And that is very important because that impact your image, that impact how people perceive you in the first instance of the 30 seconds or 1 minute. Uh, there are opportunity maybe when you have the longer conversations, people are like, oh wow, this guy is really great apart from the presence, but your presence do play quite a strong element in terms of your interview. Prepare yourself, be there early, always be there early, never late, never be late. Even if you have to be late, please call, never missing in action. Again, that goes back to the attitude, how well you are prepared for it, how well you are, how much you want the job. Yeah, that's fundamentally the some of the key elements from me. Yeah.
Spot on, John.
Yeah, great points, and great tips as well from Mr. John Chin. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I can hear that both of you hit on one very key words is that you call leaders or leadership, right? Both of you are looking for not just in terms of technical capability, especially in terms of how well you score in your calculus or how well you score in your sciences, whatever, right? I think the keywords I heard from both of you consistently, number one word is called leadership. But my question is that most students, even us, when I was younger, I probably didn't have a chance to even take a course called leadership in college, right? There's no such course, quote unquote, called leadership in college or university, at least during my time. I'm not sure about now. So, how would students learn more about leadership or build out their leadership skill? Yeah, maybe over to you, Joanne. Any thoughts for them? Because there's no actual course called leadership course, right? Chances are, unless they go outside and take some courses like where after you go into corporate world, you get the chance to attend some leadership courses, yeah, things like this. But during school time, they're very much academic driven most of the time, right? Yeah. So maybe you can share with them how can they build up their leadership skill or leadership quality to prepare for what your company is asking for or what most company is looking for, just like John's company as well, right? Looking for leaders, not just someone who just take instructions without knowing how to think or and without knowing what to do with it, right? Over to you, Joanne.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned there's no courses out there on leadership, I think there's I think there's a lot of leadership courses out there. Some of them are free as well. That if you're interested, you can actually go and, register for them. But at the same time, there's also a lot of theory information on the internet as well. But that only tells you about the theoretical part, right? How do you apply that in your day-to-day life?
Right.
So one of the best way to do it is basically to, volunteer yourself as a leader, right? In the university or even in something outside of university. I mean, I myself, when I was in uni, I didn't really participate a lot in, societies and clubs and things out there. And I sort of regretted it. Yeah. So now for all the fresh graduates, it's still not too late. Yeah. You can still start, baby steps. Yeah. Experience that leadership, experience out there first, and you will find that sometimes you will hit a wall where you will learn from it. Yeah. So the only best way is to get yourself into it and to learn about what leadership is all about. So leadership in BAT is all about how do you manage ambiguity, for example. When you come into the company, you don't know anything about the company, you don't know anything about the business, but your positive attitude is what matters. Yeah. How do you overcome the ambiguity and go forward with the goal that you have been assigned to. And how do you inspire others? Yeah, so being a leader is about showing that you're able to manage ambiguity, able to manage challenges. How do you get over your challenges by whatever means you have? And also, how do you inspire others? So that's my take on leadership and how you can start building that skills. Another way is also to talk to senior leaders that you have in your network. So it may be someone who is in the business on how do they deal with their day-to-day business issues, for example. So that would be also a good start. Yeah.
Excellent point, Joanne. Beautiful points. Excellent. Yeah, I heard you I guess extended further in terms of how students can actually acquire leadership skill while there's no quote unquote formal courses that what I meant was usually there's no formal courses that you take as in college, a subject called leadership. Normally you have to go out and do it yourself, right? Most of the time in university most universities are very focused in terms of their academic. If you're engineering, you study all the engineering subjects. There's no such course as a leadership course. Even the elective courses are maybe marketing, psychology, sociology, things like as exactly mentioned, but there's no such thing as a leadership course, right? Yeah. So, but you're right. There's a lot of, it's up to everyone right now. Good thing about today's online world, yeah, and most of students, I think, who are listening to you all right now, are what we call the Gen Z, probably, yeah, Generation Z, which is born after what, 97, 90, whatever the years are, is it 96 or 97, right? So most of students today who are listening to both of you right now, they are actually digital native, right? Whereas I am a digital migrant, right? When I was born, there's no such thing as iPad, right? But for all the students who are listening in today, they are all born as a digital native, correct? Especially when they're born after 97 or 98, all right? So good thing about the digital being a digital native and in the digital world that we're in right now, leadership courses, online courses, they're everywhere, right? It's online. You can actually go to YouTube. You can actually listen to a lot of YouTube, which is about leadership, right? While you may not have gone through it yourself, but I think you hit on a very succinct point about start the journey. Just take on some leadership role, even when you're in universities or even when you're during your high school or secondary school time, right? Because leadership quality is crafted, right? It's not gifted. A lot of people think leadership is a gift. Yeah, maybe some people has slightly a little bit, maybe 1% of that is gifted, but even the gifted leadership doesn't sustain if you don't continue to craft it. I mean, I always believe that leadership is a craft that you need to continuously to improve and learn and to make it better. And even that craft has to change with time. Whatever leadership skill or style that I have when I was leading company, right, is going to be totally different today because the people that I'm going to be leading, if I'm in a leadership role again, will be a very different generations compared to my generations at that time, right, when I was a leading company. Right.
And it's not just time, right, Michael? It's also
Right.
different situation will require
Right.
different type of leaderships. Yeah.
Absolutely
leadership
right.
style. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, totally correct. Yeah, absolutely right. So, John, maybe you want to add in terms of the topics on leadership, because I think that is a very, very important quality that as both of you both hit on one word, leadership, right? You're looking for the next leaders. You're not just looking for who you are today. You're looking for this person has an attitude, has a capacity, has a capability, right, to be mold into a leadership role, right, for the companies in the future. So, John, maybe over to you. So what can the students do more in order to hone or in order to craft their leadership skill?
I think from my point of view would be like again like you say, there are a lot of e-learning out there like Udemy and then YouTube. There are a lot of these not very expensive online learning that we can go through. These are I would consider leadership as a soft skill. It's not really a technical skills that you complete item A, B, C, then you will be there. No, it is not. It is about how you maneuver with people, how you look at the positive side of the people and write on them to do things for you, and that is very, very important. as a leader, we must always not think that we are the best. We could be not very well in doing certain things, and let our team members to help us in terms of growing and getting the things done. And it's very, very important. Some of us, I do tend to see a lot of young people think that being a leader means that I must be able to command. In order to do that is actually very difficult. You need to be super, super good in whatever that you are doing. Means that, if you are managing a project, you are able to do A to Z. It's almost impossible because you have some people who are better in doing marketing. You have people who are better in tracking time. You have people is really good in coming up with great ideas and how do you work with people. And there is a soft skills that you need to learn and evolve throughout the time. It is not like you can get it done. No, it's not an ABC kind of thing. So I think it's more of experience. Talk to people who has big team, or rather observe them. How these people talk to the team members, how these, look at, if let's say you happen to work with a great leaders and someone who inspire you, and look at how they talk, look at how they do things, look at how they inspire people. Yeah, so that is how we eventually grow our leadership. Yeah, because I had the opportunity to work with a really, really great leader in the consulting firm, and my ex-boss George is always very, very inspiring, and he's also very, how to say, he trusted you with a lot of great responsibility, and he let you go and try and know that, oh, you actually good in this, and why don't you try to do it, and then they push you and push you. So those are great leaders who will never say that, okay, you can only do ABC. No, they will ask you to do more and do more and do more. So he will never say that, oh, John, you are outshining me because you're getting things done better. No, he felt that it is, oh, you are doing a great job, and it is a team effort. It is not a me effort or you effort. So it's a really over time kind of soft skills that you need to learn and observe and read out some some books on how to become a great leader. Read out some books on how to become. There is this book called the 7 Habits of Effective People, which are also very good in terms of how you perform and how you see the good things in other people rather than see the good things of yourself. Then eventually you will become convincing, and you will start to see people following you. Then you will become a leader. It is something that comes naturally in a way. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the leader brings out the best in
Of
their people, right? Yeah, that's the
correct.
summary. Yeah.
Correct. That is really
Yeah.
something really hard to do. Yeah.
Excellent point, John. Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up that a couple of points which are really excellent, and also re-emphasize what Joanne has shared earlier. Number one is actually learn from mentors, right? Learn from other leaders,
Yeah.
because so it's a craft, right? It's a craft, as we say. I mean, very few people are gifted to leader. Most leaders are crafted, right? They have to learn along the way. They have to experience. You also say the word experience. That's something that you have to learn along the way. So the best way to learn, beside I guess try and error, right? That's one way to learn, right? You try it out. You see it doesn't work, then you learn from it, and then, but it will take time. It take a long time, right? That's why some people after 40 years, they still have not learned all the things that you can learn, right? Even for us, we'll never be able to learn whatever we need to learn in our lifetime, even in our lifetime, right? So the other way to learn is actually learn from mentors, right? Who has actually gone through it, so that they can actually tell you in a shorter way that can actually shortcut a leadership learning journey, right? And the mentors probably has gone through it for the last 40 years or 50 years, right? So he has gone through, he has tried out, he knows something works, something doesn't work, and you can actually point out to the younger generations, right? If you are willing to learn, if you are humble enough to learn, right? Yeah, maybe the times could have changed, but a lot of leadership principle, same. That's why I want to go back to the point, John, you mentioned just now, and I think John, you mentioned that word as well. It's called influence. Yeah, leadership is about one word actually. In the end, it's about influence. Yeah, how much influence can you have in terms of getting your team members to get to do things that together as a team. Because John, you point very rightly, not everyone can be good in everything. And a leader doesn't have to be good in everything, but the leader needs to be very good in bringing everyone together, right, as a team and deliver extraordinary result from ordinary people, right? Well, another definition of leadership is about getting ordinary people or ordinary team members to deliver extraordinary results, right? So that is influence. How do you get that? How do you inspire? Influence, inspiring. Joanne, I guess you mentioned the word called inspire, right? A leader's is to be able to inspire, because in order to get people to do extraordinary things, you got to inspire them to think beyond what they can be, what they can do. Because a lot of times, most people think, no, that's impossible. I can only do this. So I've never learned this before. How can I do this? But a good leader will be able to inspire the team members to actually go the extra miles, right? That has never been done before. Same thing, John, you mentioned about change. You want a change agent, right? You want something can transform the organization, right? Or even a team from that matters. So I think yeah, there's a lot of good discussion point. Fantastic sharing from both of you just on the point of leadership. I guess we have quite a few questions. Maybe we'll do it that way. Instead of just reading the questions, I would love to have the students that's actually typing the questions, because you are inside the same hall as our two wonderful speakers. Part of your leadership training is actually be able to ask the questions yourself, right? Instead of for me to actually repeat the questions and ask both Ms. Joanne and also Mr. John Chin, right? So I'm going to invite, first of all, turn on your camera. Don't be shy, because part of leadership is actually be able to have a confidence to actually speak up, right? To able to have the confidence to not be afraid to make mistake, even if you have to, right? It's okay. It's okay to make mistake as long as you learn from it, because that's part of leadership learning, right? Failure is a mother to success, right? Without failure, well, don't take it as failure. Actually, it's a mindset issue as well. Experiment. You got to experiment things. If you don't experiment things, you will never be great. Jeff Bezos, I'm sure most of you know who Jeff Bezos is. He's the richest guy in the world right now, right? And he's worth about 175 billion US dollar as of today, especially during a COVID time. His stock price just went through the roof, right? Jeff Bezos is none other than the founder of Amazon, right? Most of you heard about Amazon.com. So Amazon is one of the largest online e-commerce company in the world today. Today, you're right, Jeff Bezos, in every week, if you want to join Amazon, every week Amazon would do at least tens, if not hundreds of experiments to try to get things better, to try to come up with new way of serving the customer. They are really obsessed. If you read the story about how Amazon has grown from where it was when it started in 1994, which is like 26 years ago, to become the one of the largest company, and Jeff Bezos become the richest person. I'm not talking about wealth, it's good, but the process of it, more important, he doesn't even care. I don't think he even care how much money he has right now, because it doesn't matter anyway, right? But what's important for him right now is that they experiment things. They experiment things every day, right? Failure is part of the journey to success, right? As long as you know how to manage the risk, as long as you learn how to actually improve from what you have learned to the next level. So with that, first thing first, to be a leader, I think both our wonderful speakers touch on one very important point. They are hiring the next leader, right? Not just another person who is similar. And John talked about you also want to hire someone who can differentiate themselves, right? So that it doesn't just you want diversities, you want new ideas, you want new injection of fresh ideas, right? That's what the young people can bring in, right? Exactly. That's why all the greatest company in the world continuously hiring young people, because old people like us, we are set after a while, right, in a certain way of thinking, and we are not so exposed to the new ways of things which is being done with the younger generation. So all companies will be looking for young people with fresh ideas to come in to join them. If you are good, if you have the leadership quality, if you can influence, if you can differentiate yourself, if you can actually be able to convince and communicate, right, very well. So with that, so we talk about leadership, we talk about confidence, we talk about communication. So one of the things about, I think, is about communication skill as well, right? If you're a leader, you need to be able to communicate, because if not, you have wonderful ideas, you don't even know how to explain to your team. If you can't even explain to your team, how are you going to influence your team, right? To actually get or inspire your team to go the extra mile, right? So communication skill, I believe, is also a very important quality that most students need to have. Because I noticed that there's a lot of brilliant people in the world, but because they just couldn't be not able to express themselves or communicate, they don't get the opportunities that tends to be given to people, to students. Yeah, I'm go with. I'm
Yes.
sure, John, you may want to add in, jump in. Yeah,
Yeah, I would like to jump in now.
yeah. Please, by all
Because
means,
it's
please.
something that is so very important.
Right.
I would like to stress that, storytelling is very important. Yeah, I
Right.
do see a lot of people who come from, the debating team, for example, they do very well in the interview and subsequently in the organization as well. So if you have the opportunity, maybe you can also join clubs that, will encourage you to speak out. How do you articulate yourself and whatnot? So when I talk about storytelling, it's not about I ask you a question and you just give me a one-liner answer. No. Yeah. How do you tell me in a way that I'll be so engrossed to want to listen to your story?
Right.
I'm not talking about grandmother's story here. I'm talking about how do you start with the objective of what you're trying to convey, yeah, and then subsequently go into the point, but the point must be succinct as well. And then how do you go into the way that you did the process? How do you? I'm sure you encountered challenges. How do you actually resolve those challenges? And also learnings. Yeah, although the interviewer will not ask you about what did you learn from this experience, but you can always share with the interviewer. Okay, based on this experience, I really learned something very important that has changed my life. So these are the things that I really look forward to in an interview. How do you tell a story without making me feel bored, but I want to listen more of your story? Yeah.
Can I give an example on this? Yeah,
Definitely. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
I had a really great experience last year when I was interviewing for the management trainee. Unfortunately, this girl didn't join us at the end, but she was one of the most impressive person that I have interviewed for the last 2-3 years. Really. So what she did was it was really casual. It was just a very casual interview where she was talking about what are some of the what are some of the things that she likes to do on her free time. But while she tell us about she loved traveling and how she loved to do the planning and all that, she actually put in the element of her leadership, her ability of doing project management, her ability to manage her family, manage the trip, all these skill sets and all these her skills and her ability are all instilled in her storyline, and it makes it so subtle, but yet of course we are an interviewer, we know that she's trying to tell us that she has all these skills, but it was so interesting that we were so amazed by her story, and we at the end of the interview we were like, wow, this is who we want to hire. We almost offered her immediately on the spot and said, you're hired. Unfortunately, we can't because there's a process of assessment and all that. But that's how well the interview went. The storytelling, how you weave the story and how you put the important things inside there. How you tell people that what are some of the great things you can do without emphasize it boldly and make us feel like, okay, right, and we know that you know how to do this. But these are skills. Yes, definitely. I think debate teams will help, or maybe go to some storytelling classes will also help you to how to speak well. How do you storyline yourself? How do you put things together? These are very, very important. I really think this is the key element of differentiator. One of the big differentiator in the outcomes of the interview. Yeah.
Marvelous point. Yeah. John, you have something you want to jump in?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned Toastmasters as well. So
Right.
that's something that you can participate in. But at the end of the day, ability to stay humble as well is important. So you don't want to go in an interview to boast all your achievements as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice one.
stay humble, and then do a bit of self-reflection. Yeah. So
Right.
you have a lot of good things, you know your strength, but also don't be afraid to also review your development areas or your gaps and how you're going to address that. Yeah. To make yourself successful in the next role. So that's my 2 cents as well on the topic of communication.
Fantastic, fantastic point, Joanne. Okay, so with that, we know that companies are looking for students who are the future leaders, where companies who have the confidence and change agent, candidates who are change agent, and candidates who actually have a good communication skill or storytelling skill, right? So with that, I would love to invite our students to actually ask the questions yourself, because that's part of learning, right? That's part of how you ask a good question to our to wonderful speakers. So I'll first invite, I think there's a student by the name of Sador, right? So Sador, would you please turn on your camera and also your mic, and over to you to ask these questions to our two wonderful speakers. Over to you, Sador.
Good
Are you
morning.
there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Very good.
Hello.
Hope you are
Hi,
doing
Hello.
well. Hi.
Very good.
I was just curious and I want to jump up to the conclusion. I think I was the first person to ask the question, like, how important is CGPA today? Because most of the students are trying to get the highest CGPA to be hired. And at the same time, we are being told that the soft skills are also important, like you are telling now. And I want to know how CGPA is important. It's like should be 3, 3.5, or whatever it is about.
Very good
Okay.
questions indeed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sador, thank you. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Joanne. Yes.
Of course, you've spent so many years in university studying very hard. Of course, CGPA is important, right? That is normally the first filter that we look for, right? If you have a CGPA that's low, or if you're second class lower, chances are we'll filter that out. So I normally look for second class upper, yeah, or equivalent, yeah, as a first filter, yeah. And like you rightfully mentioned, we also look at soft skills as well. So it's a good balance of both. While you can be good at your technical skills or also at studies, but I need someone with a balance of leadership skills as well and soft skills. Yeah.
One more thing, how are the job opportunities for international students in Malaysia?
Okay, good question. John, you want to answer first?
Well, that day is really hard from MBank side, because we do not hire foreign students, or we do not hire any expats actually, unless it is approved by Bank Negara. We need to justify that they are lacking of such talent in Malaysia. We couldn't find anyone. Then only then we will hire anyone from outside of Malaysia. Yeah, it's kind of hard for us. Yeah. For going to
Okay,
every person.
Yeah, for BAT, we're actually quite open to other nationalities. In fact, in our company itself, we have about 60 nationalities around the world. However, for a fresh graduate, it's a bit difficult because we can't get the work permit, yeah, that is required for you to work legally in Malaysia, although there are some avenues to do that. I think Kelly Services actually hosted a lot of fresh graduates as well, and they seem to be able to get a work permit from their end. So from our end, we're more than open to hire non-Malaysians. However, the work permit part is the one that's stopping us from doing so. But nevertheless, you can always, try to develop yourselves first and probably enter the company at the mid-career level. Yeah.
Thank you. Sador,
Yes,
if I
please.
can ask you questions, if you don't mind us asking you, which country and which university are you from?
I'm from Uzbekistan and currently studying my bachelor in Al Bukhari International University in Malaysia.
Excellent, excellent. So which areas are you studying?
Bachelor of Business Administration.
Bachelor of Business Administration. Very
Yeah.
good, very good. Yeah.
But if you hold a student visa, you can do internship in our companies. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's very good to know. Very good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
On top of that, if I may add, especially if you try to join for international students, to join some of the MSC status company. Yeah, MSC's Malaysia has a lot of tech company, or even service support, global services support like IBM, BMW, HSBC. Yeah, they're all based in Cyberjaya, and they are quote unquote MNC's company. So MNC company has actually a lot more leeway and also to be able to hire international students. So you can also check with those company, which is a MSc status company in Cyberjaya. But right now, the MSc company doesn't only needs to be based in Cyberjaya anymore. They can base anywhere. They just have to be a MSc Malaysian company, MSc company, and they are probably close to 1,500 to 2,000 MSc company in Malaysia right now. So Sado, that could be another avenue, right, for you to actually explore. I think for Malaysia, I mean, that's the whole intent or objective of MNC is to be able to attract definitely more in terms of the tech talent, which is more in the technology areas, to attract a lot more talents from globally, so that we can continue to strengthen our technology industry as well in Malaysia. Yeah. So for international students, don't feel that you don't have an opportunity to work in Malaysia. You love the countries, you love what you're seeing in Malaysia. Try it out. It's just try out the MSc status company as well. Yeah, that's my advice to you, Sado. Besides, definitely BAT is open for internship. So if you are at an internship level, please apply. Definitely, you have to go through the normal process as how every candidate has to go through. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question, Sadar. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, most welcome. Okay, next I'm going to invite Faraj Ramahan to actually ask the questions and also identify yourself. Faraj.
Hi, that's me.
All right, good.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
One very important question. First, let me tell you about myself. I'm studying at Curtin University in Singapore, and I'm studying mechanical engineering. I'm originally from Bangladesh, so I'm studying here as an international student. So my question would be, as you all mentioned that we have to go to the interview, if we share our own experience, our original experience, and tell it in a story. So in that story, I'm sure recruiters look for qualities, strengths, and weaknesses. I would like to know in bullet points all those strengths and weaknesses so that we know what it is and we can work on it later on.
Very, I guess, very structured questions from my engineering students.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I can share from the guides that we use for management trainee or global graduate selection. We normally have two categories. One would be still leadership. Yeah. So I hope you've been paying attention in this session. And then the next one would be business acumen. Yeah. So leadership is all about, are you a team player? Are you able to inspire? Are you agile or not? Are you open to changes? Can you propose some innovation? Or even, are you able to think out of the box? So when we throw to you questions, even if you don't know the answer, how can you provide us with an answer which will direct us to the end goal? Yeah, sometimes the question that we ask, you may not have the answer, but how do you derive to the answer? It's important. I'll give you an example of questions that I like to ask. Yeah, hypothetical question. So, for example, in Malaysia, in year 2020, how many sport shoes will Malaysia be selling in the market? Yeah. So anybody with any background will be able to answer this question. I'm not interested in the number of how many million sport shoes. I'm interested in how you come to the answer. Yeah. So probably you can start with, okay, in Malaysia, we have how many million, citizens. Out of that, how many million citizens, how many actually are active in sports? And then 1 year, one person will change how many pair of shoes. So that kind of question would be, something that you should prepare yourself to answering that. Then, of course, your business acumen will be related to your field of study. So if you're an engineering student or if your role that you're applying for is more to engineering, so I'd like to hear more about how do you resolve those kind of issues and questions on that.
Excellent
Yep.
point. Yeah. John, anything to add?
We use similar framework in terms of the interview as well. But I think some of the questions we will ask probably will more of the of course we are from the banking industrial, so it will be more of the banking industrial related topic. We won't ask you questions like how is the investment banking is doing now, what do you think, all sort of things, but we will ask more specifically things on how do you see the landscape or how the future banking is going to be like. So probably sometimes it depends on the level of the conversations, and sometimes you will even throw in the questions like, if you are a CEO of mBank now, what are some of the things that you would see, or how would you run the bank? We don't we but those are hypothetical questions. Yeah, it is more for you to go wild and go crazy with the answers. We want to see how creative you will go, and we want to see how far you will think. If you're coming up with questions like, I engage my staff so that their morale is high, compensate them well, those are the things that we're already doing. So those are actually not the right question, not the right answer for us. So those are questions where sometimes if an interviewer asks you these sort of questions, are more for you to go wild, for you to think out of the box, for you to go really to show that you are someone who is able to think far ahead of the current situation and not just thinking of the current situation. So those sort of questions actually are good questions to for you to shine and for you to really ace the interview. So don't when you get those questions, don't answer or don't answer it with a very practical answer, because it is not the answer that we want. Yeah, so those are the tricks. Yeah, those are the interview tricks. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good, John. Faraj, would you mind sharing with us? You say you're from mechanical. Was it mechanical engineering? Correct. Faraj, I think your mic is muted.
Uh,
Yep.
Now is it okay? Can you
Yes,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. Yes, you have mechanical engineering, right? Is it correct?
Yes, mechanical engineering.
Excellent. So I hope our wonderful speakers has basically share with you some of the questions that you have in mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. And I think even for a lot of companies like BAT, I'm not sure, Joanne, does BAT has a office in Bangladesh?
Yes, it's a big
We
company.
do, a very big and reputable one, which hires a lot of fresh graduates and internship as well.
Yes.
Excellent. So Faraj, there you go, right? You can intern here and go back work there if you want to.
Definitely.
Right. Okay.
And
I'll
they
put
have
that
a
as
big
an option.
factory there, so they need engineering students.
Yes, they
Correct.
hire a lot of engineers in general. Thank you for the answers.
Excellent, Faraj. Thank you for the wonderful question as well. All right, good. So now let me invite. I think is Joey Yu, right? Joey Yu. So Joey, could you please identify and turn on your mic and camera, and please ask your questions to both Miss Joanne Lam as well as John Chin. Over to you, Joey.
Hi, can you listen to me now?
Sure.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes.
Hi, Joey.
Hi.
So I'm Joey, then I'm currently the final year student for Bachelor of Corporate Admin in TAUC. So I would like to ask that because I'm going to have my internship at next semester, and what I face now is that when I apply for my internship by email my resume, and I didn't get any reply, so I'm curious that did I need to like email it again, or should I call the company actually? Because I'm very curious because I didn't have any experience in applying job like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you want to go first, John?
Yeah. So I'll ask you one very simple questions. So if you are going out with your friend, okay, if you are going out with your friend, and your friend did not confirm whether the thing is going on or not, so what will you do? What are you going to do?
For me, I think maybe I will double confirm again. If you still not confirm, then I will just cancel it.
All right. So you double confirm, right? So that's one of the things that you should do. So I would think that be proactive, pick up the call, and then give the organizations that you applied for a call and say that you have submitted a resume for internship. Just to check whether the department has already received it, because we do have a lot of internship applications every day, every week. So it is not surprised that sometimes internship applications are being oversight. So it is very, very important as a student to be proactive to ensure that your application is being received and people are looking into it. So you can check with them and say, I have submitted. Can you just double check? Let me know if you didn't get my applications. I will resubmit it again. So you will sort of let people know that you have applied, and then we will look into it if we missed it. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I think you definitely should do. Give them a call. Yeah, email is not the best communication tools.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Any point?
To John, I think applying for internship is like applying for a proper job as well.
Yeah.
Because we have thousands of application every day. So we still actually go through the proper selection process for internship as well. Yeah. And for BAT, we actually publish all our internship vacancies, if we have any, on our website, careers.bat.com. So you can actually apply for those internship through a proper channel, not just sending an email to some random HR person. But of course, your CV also need to stand out, which probably we'll talk somewhere in this session later, how to, craft a proper CV. And also, if you know someone in the company, that will help as well. Normally, that's the case. Yeah.
I think that's all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you for your questions. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I mean, those are very good questions. I think those are questions a lot of the students have in mind, but not asking it. So thank you for the courage. I think that's the first step towards being confident, being a future leaders. Yeah, which all the companies like what Joanne's companies as well as Mr. John's James companies are looking for, right? So very good. Okay, now I'm going to invite another students. I think it's from Louis. Is that right? Louis? Are you here? You're asking. You're from Quest International University. Please kindly turn on your mic as well as video and ask that wonderful questions that you have. Over to you, Louis.
Can you listen to me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Louise from Quest International University Perak, and I'm currently completing my bachelor degree in corporate communications. So my question is, due to the COVID pandemic mentioned by Mr. John Chin just now, everyone is now getting used to the change of the workplace landscape, which is to the digital initiatives, and there are lots of changes in the organization structure too. So in your opinion, will it lower down the employment rate for the internship or even the fresh graduates, or the chances for us too, as we are not as experienced as the senior employees in the organization structures? Yeah.
Very good question, Louis. I'll leave it to our two wonderful speakers to share their thoughts here. Yeah.
I think it will it will be a sort of a lie if we say that we are still actively hiring a lot of people. I think at this moment we are very careful with who we are hiring, what sort of candidates coming in. So we are hiring quality over quantity. I mean, it has always been quality over quantity. It's just that at this moment we are looking at what are some of the job can be done through digital and do not require a lot of people to do it, like administrative work. The sort of work is a little bit starting to we will see the visibility of redundancies as digital take over slowly. Yeah, so we are not completely stop hiring. We are hiring, so you should not be worried about like fresh graduates land a job. It will not be such a big impact. And there are still a lot of programs out there that organizations are taking part of. For example, the banking industry are doing the SLIM program, the Protege program, which is done by Bank Negara. So AmBank is one of those who are doing this Prodigy program for a 1-year contract. So you still can join these sort of programs to kickstart your career. It doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent program. You can also, like, once you graduated, if you couldn't find a job and you don't know what you do, start applying for some internship as well. It will actually helps you to build career opportunities. You learn more, and then you see more, and maybe perhaps you will finally know that what sort of jobs that you like to do. Yeah, it is. We are not hiring. It's just that selections are very, very strict. People that we are hiring have to be highly competent. So yeah, it only means that the competitions are very, very tough. Yeah, Joanne.
Yeah, I think it depends on the industry as well. Some industry during this COVID situation is blooming, right? And they're hiring like mad. So it depends on the industry. I think for my company per se, we are not freezing hiring. In fact, we are expanding simply because, like John mentioned, we need to look at ways on how can we simplify things by introducing, probably things like AI, robotics, analytics, data science. So those are actually roles that that is highly sought after at the moment. So it depends on industry, but don't give up. Yeah, there are still other companies hiring out there. And there's a lot of opportunities for fresh graduates as well. It's just that some roles that we hire are only the critical ones as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
That's all for
Louise,
my
I hope,
questions.
very good. I hope our two wonderful speakers has answered your questions.
Yeah,
Louise?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
very
yes,
good.
yes.
So don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All right.
it will not be so much of an impact for what you studied. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Louis. Thank you both, our wonderful speaker. Let me go to I guess it's if I hope I'm reading the name correctly. It's Golam Mohammed Muhyiddin. Golam, are you here? Please, if you are here, please kindly turn on your mic and video so that you can ask our wonderful questions. Your question, two wonderful speakers, your questions, please. Go ahead, Golam. Are you here? Okay. So if you are not here, I'm going to go to our next questions from Raj. Raj, are you here?
Hello.
Hi, Raj.
First of all, my apologies for not turning on the video as my webcam is not working.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good morning to the three of you.
Morning.
Morning.
My question is, are hiring managers always right when they reject candidates? Because different hiring managers have different point of views. So do we need to tailor our presentation during interviews according to the interviewer?
Good question.
Yeah.
So before we hire someone, most of the fresh graduates would have gone through a few rounds of online assessment, right? So that would have filtered out some of the good candidates. And then it comes to the hiring manager. So for BAT, we actually make all the hiring managers go through something called the license to hire. Yeah, so you have to be trained first in order to be a good interviewer and also a good hiring manager, so that they follow the same process, they follow the same strict quality that we look for. So at the end of the day, in BAT, we still give the hiring manager the last say in terms of who makes it for the interview or who does not make it for the interview. Regarding your question, or do you tailor your interview to the hiring manager? Yes, absolutely. Before an interview, if you know who the interviewer is, if you don't know, you can ask the recruiter. Please do some search on LinkedIn with regards to the hiring manager. Find out a bit of the background of the hiring manager in order for you to wow or impress the hiring manager. If you really want a job, you'll probably do that as well. Yeah.
Very good point, John. Very good point. Yeah. Over to you, John. Anything to add?
We are all more or less the same. I think in terms of these, you definitely need to tailor the way how you speak based on who interview you. So again, this also comes back to the soft skills, or you are able to mimic the person who interview you. You are able to follow the pace of the interviewer, in terms of how you speak, what sort of pace of speaking. You don't, if you, let's say your interviewer speak slow and steady, you don't go really fast, you're gonna get yourself really into like very messy, because you will not be able to follow the pace. So it is important to know the pacing between the conversations, see how your interviewer speak, see how or sort of observe what sort of communication style they uses, whether it is very straightforward, whether it is soft spoken. So you really need to observe. These are kind of it is not something that we can teach you over the a webinar, but it is over time of you probably can go into the YouTube on to see how do you have a good interview conversation kind of thing. That will probably help you. At the end of the time, it will still be at the hiring manager's decisions to call whether you will be the one who is being hired, because they are going to be, most probably they are going to be your supervisor, so they get to be the one who decides whether you are the one. However, we do have some, for example, when we first cut the fresh graduates for the interview, some of them will actually do some research. For example, when my staff call them in for interview, they will say, okay, so my staff will usually say that, you will be having an interview next week with John. So he will be the, he's the head of graduates program, blah, blah, blah. So she will do the informations and all that, send the email. Some of them come really, really well prepared. They check out my LinkedIn. What do I do? What sort of things I have done? How long I have been in mBank? So they come well prepared. So some of the things you probably would want to ask the recruiters, because most of the organization will have a recruiters to contact you and tell you when is your interview. Then you, at the same time, you should ask, who are my person who will be interviewing me, who will I be speaking to, what is the background. So you can do a quick search on the LinkedIn. Is quite easy nowadays. Google, quick search, do it, and then you will be able to have some sort of background, knowing what do they do, what sort of portfolio they're holding, and definitely will bring you more benefits than the bad stuff lah. Yeah, right.
Brilliant point. So, John, Raj, could I know which university and what course or faculty are you from?
Yeah, sure. I'm a fresh graduate actually from University Technology Petronas, and I did petroleum engineering.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So, have you gotten a job? Are you currently still looking for job options right now?
I'm currently looking for a job option. Unfortunately, I graduated during the pandemic, so right now it's quite difficult for me to get into the oil and gas industry.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I guess don't give up. I'm sure. I'll just share some of my personal experience with some of my friends of children as well. Right. Same thing when they graduated, depending on the degree that they have. So sometimes a certain industry may hit into a downtime, or it's a downward trend for that particular industry. That happens to any industry. So during that time, the children just have to be a little bit more flexible, and more adaptable in terms of the type of job that your dream job in a way, right? Some of you say, okay, I want to work in this type of job, and I don't want to work in anything. You may have to be a little bit flexible in terms of what you're looking at. So maybe I'll pass it over to both Ms. Joanne and Mrs. John. I think that is good questions for a lot of students as well. Over to you, Joanne.
Yeah, I think, for BAT, our global graduate program, we are open to any degree that you have done before. For example, if I'm hiring for a global graduate for marketing, I'm open to any degree. We even had people who did chemical engineering, but at the end of the day, they are now doing marketing. Yeah, so it's not impossible as long as you're open to going to other industry and other areas. And to be honest, like me, I studied IT, but I'm in HR. I've seen people who didn't study HR at all. Most of the people didn't study HR and they are in HR. People who have done finance, people who have done marketing, but they're doing HR. At the end of the day, the degree provides you with a fundamental basic, but how you perform in the role later is all entirely up to you and your interest. Yeah, so don't give up. You can try other options as well. And if you don't like it, you can always go back to the oil and gas later.
Right, or when the oil and gas prices goes up to 100 US dollars again.
Thank
So,
you very
Raj, yeah.
much.
It's,
Yeah.
it's same in MBank as well. Our management trainee program and our graduates program also is open for all kind of background of study. So we don't limit the people who apply for it. So for the last, we have done 3 cohorts, or rather this is the 4th cohort. We've done the 4th cohort of the graduates program. So we have people from various backgrounds, from biochemical to lawyers, and to mechanical engineering, civil engineering, all sort of background. And you'll be surprised, yeah. Engineers are actually very suitable for the banking, just so you know. Their mindset and how they are being trained are really suitable for banking. So some of you who are engineers background, IT background, you may consider banking as one of your selections of application moving forward. Yeah, these will be some of the good stuff that you can look at. Yeah.
Or
It's very-
even roles like analytics or
Yeah.
data science or AI, because engineers are normally very good in maths and statistics
Yes,
and whatnot.
correct.
So
Right.
that's
They are
another
very
possible
fast
area.
in that sort of things. Yeah, they're really quick at it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very, very good advice and very, very good point. Raj, I hope that helped you in terms of some of your thinking or your thoughts right now, and hopefully that helped you a little bit in terms of your search for your career.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is some great advice. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank
you,
you for coming up with the questions. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, now I have a questions. Actually, we have quite a few questions, so we may have to go a little bit faster. Denise, are you here? Denise Hui, would you like to turn on your
Yeah.
mic and your camera? Yeah, please go ahead, Denise. Yeah, over to you, Denise.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
hear
we can
me?
hear you well. Yes.
Hi, good morning. I
Morning.
actually have a question for Ms. Joanne, because just now you did share about bringing difference to the company is a very important criteria. So actually for VAT, any implementations of changes that you guys have actually accepted and implemented throughout the company?
Right. So it's when I mention about bringing your difference, it's not so much about, a project or an idea that you have that you will bring into BAT to implement or follow through. Yeah. What I meant was, are you able to think differently in order for you to come into the role and shape that project to the way that you're thinking? So I give you an example of, if you're very big on social media marketing, for example, yeah, and you come as a fresh graduate, you have brilliant ideas, and I can give you an example of something that the young ones now like to do, which is watching people eat on YouTube, right? What is it called? AMSR or something like that, right? So one of the fresh graduates actually said, why don't you consider your marketing, to go on this path, right? Of course, we are in tobacco, but that's a separate thing. So that's something that we were like, oh yeah, I mean, it's something new. I didn't really think about it, and my marketing team were also very wowed by it. So that's what I meant by bringing your difference. Yeah.
Like a new idea.
Yeah, something wild, like John said, just throw your wild ideas. It may be feasible, it may not be feasible. Of course, the implementation part, we will have a lot of legality that we need to make sure we comply with. But at least you have that idea, and great leaders actually make ideas come true, right?
That's true.
So the first step is to throw and have that idea at least.
Okay. Cool.
Very good point. John, you have anything you want to add to Joanne's input?
Yeah, I think just go wild, and just I think more of this, read up a lot more on what's going on outside in the current market, what's happening in UK, what's happening in US, what's happening in China really, what are some of the things that they are doing. And then when you go for the interview and people ask you some question, you're gonna be able to put things together. Like you will be able to, maybe the question will trigger your thinking in terms of how do you put item A, item C together and come up with an item D, So it is about prepare yourself well, read up more, know about what's going on in the market. So when you comes in, when trigger discussions, then the idea will comes. Usually it's like that. Idea usually comes in the discussions during a critical time when the interviewer asks you some difficult questions. Then these are the crazy ideas that come up. I never think that it is a crazy idea. Just say, okay, this is. I don't really have a picture of how it is, but this is what I can sort of imagine, and then you just say it out, and it will end up become a discussion. Then usually interviewer will say, okay, that is a good start. So how do you think you're going to implement it? Then you go into a detail. Then you will be able to, it usually is a guided discussion. So it will not be letting you to decide and tell the whole story of how you're going to implement it. So that is how, so just go out, just read up more, just know what's going on. Important, just know what's going on in the market.
Very fantastic point, Denise. Denise, would you mind sharing with us which university, what course are you taking?
Yeah, I'm actually currently in the final semester of chemical engineering at Taylor's University.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, on top of it, I actually have a question for two interviewee, or maybe Mr. Michael as well. What book would you recommend a fresh graduate to read up to actually build up our own professionalism or that kind of soft skill? Because I
Okay.
might have a lot of time to read after I graduate.
Well, John, you want to take a stab on it?
The most easiest one to digest would be, like John mentioned, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That will be a good start, and it's available, everywhere now. I mean, it's quite a dated book. It has been launched quite some time ago, but it's still relevant as a good start. Yeah. And if you can also go to like the Harvard Business Review. You can subscribe to those kind of articles. So every week, every day, they have good articles about leadership, about business. So that's a good place to start. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. What about John? Any recommendation for Denise?
I think the 7 Habits is the 7 Habits is one of the best book available as a start. Then you can browse around in Udemy and see some of the leadership programs that is available. They are not expensive. You can some of them are free. You can just go through it, and it definitely will help you. Yeah, just browse through. There's a lot of all these inspirational talks as well in YouTube. Just search it out. How to how to improve effectiveness at workplace. How do I improve my leadership skill? What some of the things that I can look at as a fresh graduate? Those sort of topic, you just simply type them in YouTube. You should be able to find some really helpful topics. Yeah, that will help.
TED Talk as well, right?
TED Talk, yes.
Yes, TED as well. Yeah.
On how to present. And another very effective thing that you can do is, let's say you're interviewing for a company, let's say BAT, right? You can always go to their website and you can actually download their annual report. So for example, your annual report for 2019, you'll be able to see our financials, you'll be able to see all the initiatives that we have done for the year. So that would be a good start for you to have a proper conversation with the interviewer, and they'll be like, wow, you really did your research about the company. So that's a good place to find information about the company. Yeah.
Correct. Denise, for myself, I'm actually reading Robin Sharma. Have you heard about Robin Sharma? Yeah. So a lot about. Yes, I finished the 5 AM Club already. All right. So yeah, very good. So it's all up to you. Because reading a book sometimes it could be quite personal, right? So it depends on your interest as well in what particular subject. So if you love personal leadership development, there's so many good books out there. Robin Sharma's series is definitely one of them, right? So because as what Joanne has mentioned, first thing when she started her sharing, right, is actually leadership. They are looking for the next leaders, right? So the next leaders will, first of all, in order to be leaders, first of all, you have to be able to lead yourself first, right? I always say, if you can't even lead yourself, how are you going to lead other people, right? You start off with personal leadership, right? Yeah. So Robin Sharma talks a lot about personal leadership, right? Whether it's a 5 AM Club or whether it's the monk who sold his Ferrari, right? All this about personal leadership, correct? So if you're interested in developing yourself as a leader or as a future leader, start with your personal leadership. Because if you can't even lead yourself, how are you going to lead other people? How are you going to lead your family? How are you going to lead your community? How are you going to lead your team? How are you going to lead the society? How are you going to lead the country? If you
How
can't
do I
even
live
lead
my
yourself.
life?
Exactly. How are you going to lead your
Take
life?
control of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very good questions, Denise. Hopefully that our wonderful speakers has managed to answer your questions. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking the
you.
questions. Yeah. We're going to rush through a little bit. Thank you, Denise. Yeah. Hope to see you soon again. And I think there's a Farah Amelia. Farah, are you here? Farah Amelia Shahira.
Hello.
Hi, Farah. Please turn on your mic as well if you can see you. Fantastic, Farah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a question. Like different companies have different kind of assessment during the interview. So I had an experience of doing an interview where I have to give a presentation. So for this presentation, they would give like a topic. During my experience, they gave me a very vague topic, like what do you know about bank, for example. So I saw like different people have different approach towards this assessment. So I'm kind of curious, like what would you look at when we're giving this kind of presentation? Thank you.
Very good
I'll
question.
answer it first then. From if it is from a bank, let's say if it's from a bank, usually what we are looking at is number one is whether you have done your research
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the bank that you'll be entering. What are some of the core background of the bank? What are the fundamental business of the bank? Different bank has a different business structure. Yeah. So for example, like M Bank is not a core retail banking bank. So you must know the difference between the different banks. So they how did the bank started, what are some of the key elements or the key the key business that the banks brings in the society. So what sort of things that you need to do, you need to do the research. So who are the founder of the bank? So that after that, where are we moving towards? So there is actually, even it is a vague questions, but it is actually a very good question for you to go all around. You can actually go wow and go all out. Yeah. And yeah, it is some of the things that we have that you can actually think about how to do the presentations. Not very, don't treat it as a trick questions. It's not trick questions.
Go wild.
Yeah, they just wanted to see how you presented, how much homework you have done. Yeah, it's more of how much work you have put in to prepare yourself for the interview. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Farah, well, would you mind sharing with us which course are you taking? Which university are you from? So that
Currently I'm doing Master in Science in Chemical Engineering at University of Technology Petronas. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, UTP. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, Joanne, any things you want to add on to Farah's questions?
Maybe I can give all the fresh graduates some tips. So normally in a global graduate selection, of course, there's many layers of assessment that you have to go through. The first basic one would probably be the verbal and numerical test, which is done online. So that will test your comprehension skills and also, of course, some mathematics and statistics. So don't worry, on the internet, there's a lot of sites that you can actually go and do practice questions. So if you want to prepare yourself for that, it's a good opportunity for you to go and experience the test questions themselves. Of course, it's not the same question on the actual day, but at least you get some idea on how to answer question under a time pressure, and also how do you, the process and whatnot. Okay. Secondly, if you advance to the next stage, of course, it's the interview, but that one we have already spoken about in length today. But the subsequent stages would be either a presentation, a case study, or a group assessment exercise, right? So presentation, I will give you a scenario or an example of a company where you will then need to pick up points from that scenario and present to us your proposal. So similar like what John mentioned, so that will be presentation. Then there will be a case study. There will be a company, a fictitious company given to you that you will have to read through their problems and their issues, and how do you propose it to the finance director or to the marketing director on your solution, right? And the third one will be the group assessment. So group assessment normally is not just you alone. You'll probably be with another, 6 other candidates. And we want to see who really stands out in that group assessment. So it's not so much about who talks the most, but number one, again, we're looking for leadership. Who can actually command or bring the group together in delivering the solution within the time frame and also the objective that has been given to you. So if you want to ace in the group assessment, try to be a good leader that stands out from the rest. Of course, you need to contribute as well, not just rounding up people as a leader, but you need to contribute as well. So that's some tips for you on the group assessment and the other assessments for global graduate programs.
Well,
Okay,
fantastic insight,
thank you.
Farah. Farah, yeah, hopefully both speakers have managed to give you some
Yep.
ideas as well as thoughts, to prepare
Mm.
yourself. You're very technical. I mean, to be able to find someone who is in STEM, right, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, and at master level, I think it's a very valuable skill that you have. So take it all the way, right? I mean, whether it's with any industry, not necessarily just have to be chemical engineering, right? You're studying chemical engineering, master in chemical engineering, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So the world needs more diversity. The world needs more ladies leaders, especially in the STEM field. Yeah. Okay. Good questions. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the wonderful questions. Okay, everyone, I think we are already at 11:30. All right. Well, in fact, we still have, I think, at least 10 more questions, and I don't have a time to even look at the questions which are coming from Facebook. All right. So in order not to hold everyone, we do have Joanne and John. We actually encourage them to join our WhatsApp group as well, right? So that if for any questions that they might have and any update, that we can actually post them to them easily. So based on the time, I'm not sure how much time that Joanne and John that you have. Yours is already 11:31 because I promised you until about 11:30. Yeah, and it's a Sunday morning, so I don't want to unnecessarily take away your time with for yourself, your me time as well as if you are with family time as well. Yeah. So would you mind if they have those are further questions where we'll compile it? Okay, we'll compile from the students. Some of them may have not been answered, and then send it to you all separately, and then maybe see whether you can either just voice it over, and then we record it and send it over to the WhatsApp group for them to actually get your answer. Is that okay? Or even a video answers for it as well. I will leave it to you because sometimes typing could be take some time, right? So you could just basically from the question, you just say, okay, this is my thought and all thing. Then we can share back with them. Is that going to be okay? Both Joanne and John, so that we don't hold you for too long because there's still quite a lot of questions actually. Yeah.
I think there is one fundamental, very important things that I think we should touch on before we go is the CV preparation of CV. That is very important. That's the first touch point of candidates before they even get into the level of interview. Yeah. So I think we will. I will go briefly on my side of some of the things that we see, especially when you do your CVs. Personally, for me, I'm not sure about Joanna. For me, is that I don't like to read CVs that is more than 2 pages. Okay, I prefer it to be within 2 pages because whatever that is that you have is already, it should be already inside there. And if you I do find a lot of local university likes to put in Mandarin as the language that you know, or if let's say if you only attended the program and you couldn't speak well, please do not even put it inside there, or even Japanese or Korean per se, doesn't matter. Please don't even scale it because you will end up being interviewed and asked in Mandarin and you couldn't answer. That will actually impact you. So it will be good if you don't put it in. If you only know the fundamental, like really bare basic, and you couldn't do a proper communications, then you don't put it in. there are some of the things that you should know. If you want to scale your skill, please don't scale it with good, bad, or just don't scale it. Just put knowledge in the skill. For example, PowerPoint, words, and all that. They will do, because if you start scaling it, if let's say if you scale your Excel, then you're gonna get yourself into a big trouble, because when you start scaling Excel, people are gonna ask you to do formulas and programming and macros, and that is where technicals come in, and then you're gonna have issues. So there are some of key things that you should not be putting in if you know that you're not really good at it, and you just put it in a very basic, like some skills, Microsoft, Words, PowerPoint, Excel. So when the interviewer asks you, how is your Excel skills, that you can just say, I know the very basic. If let's say you really know the very basic, so just don't scale them, because those are very technical things. If you will be tested, if you scale at 80%, let's say you scale yourself as super good, then they start asking you to do things, then you will not be able to do it, and it will impact your results in the interview as well. Yeah, so there's some of my pet peeves. I've got it.
Magnificent.
Before that, I will have a trigger. Yeah. Joanne.
I mean, for me, it's the same. 2 pages maximum. I only take 1 minute to go through a CV. Yeah, because I don't have much time. So what I like is normally a very clean format, easy to read, and preferably in infographics. Infographics format. I don't have time. I had this debate with Michael the other day about cover letter. I do not have time to read cover letters, to be honest. I just want to look at the CV. Okay, experience, strength, development areas, that's it. Yeah, so make it precise, concise, a bit of infographics wouldn't hurt. Yeah, things that you're really strong of, that you want to, shine, you put it in an infographic manner. Yeah, so that's all for me.
Fantastic point. Fantastic point. I think there's so much to share, from both our two wonderful speakers, both Ms. Lam and also Mr. Chin. So I'm sure this. I have to apologize. There's still a lot of questions that you all have that we couldn't get to, so that we don't hold up everyone. We'll pose those questions to our two wonderful speakers and see whether they have time. They can actually just voice over, right? Then we can actually each questions. Then easy. You don't have to type whatever. Then we'll post it back to the GNI group. We have a group which is initiated so that we can keep them updated. We can share with them even if there's an internship position available from companies, so to help them to be able to at least try it out. Yeah, and also if there's any fresh graduate job available for the team as well, and constantly getting hopefully industry leaders like you all to be able to help them to share with them as well. Yeah. So we'll do that. So with that. It's already 11:37. I have to apologize for running over time. I'm not a very good moderator because I'm very passionate also about this topic, just like both Joanne and John as well. So I will hand over. I'll really thank you both. I mean, we really have to thank both Ms. Joanne Lam as well as Mr. John Chin for really sacrificing, dedicated their precious time on a Sunday morning. Yeah, for every one of us, especially for our students. So I hope everyone, please say a thank you to both our wonderful speakers on the chat, so that at least, I mean, these are part of, I think, part of training, part of being appreciative. One of the first thing about leadership is be appreciative, right? Be appreciative, be grateful for things, in life. That's part of personal leadership as well. Every morning when you wake up, do you thank, right? Do you say a thank you words, right? So I think that is very important as part of your personal growth as well. Yeah. So with that, I'll hand over. Thank you again, Joanne and John, for your wonderful sharing. So I hand over to Tasha. Tasha, please, over to you to close off the webinar for today. Over to you, Tasha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, John.
It was such a wonderful sharing section from both of our speakers, Ms. Joanne and Mr. John, and from Mr. Michael. Okay, yeah. So as we promised before we start our webinar, here's the time for the lucky draw. So let's wait and see who will be the 88 lucky winners of today's webinar. Okay, I think our tech teams are ready. So let's start the countdown.
the voice, is the sound still there?
No.
Yeah, I can't hear the sound right now. Okay, it's back. Yeah.
Okay, so these are the 88 lucky winners who will be entitled to get a tips for your job interview workshop worth of RM 399 each. We will post the name in our GNI group and we will drop email to all the lucky winners. So and yeah, before I forget, we would like to thank dear Husni Muhammad Rifki for sharing and referring the most registration for our webinar today. He has worked really very hard to share and refer to his friend. Thanks a lot on behalf of us, dear Husni Muhammad Rifki. So hopefully today you have received a lot of knowledge and ideas from the speakers. We would like to invite all the students to join on our Global Network Initiative WhatsApp group. And as you can see, we have provided the QR code. You can just scan on our QR code and you can directly join on our GNI group. And our tech team already posted our GNI WhatsApp link. I mean, like the link for you to join us. You can even use the link in our chat box. So what's the main objective of our GNI WhatsApp group are to grow, network, and initiate the youth of today to be the leaders of tomorrow. And the second one is learn, interact, and participate in webinars and activities conducted by peers, industry, and thought leaders. And the third objective will be get access to webinar links, mentoring resources, and you will get some support. And the fourth one, the main objective of our GNI, to get access to job and internship opportunities in real time. So do not forget to join us in our GNI group. We will post you all the details and even the recording of our webinar for today. We'll post it in our GNI later on. So kindly join on our Global Network Initiative WhatsApp group again. And with that, thanks once again for joining us this morning. We hope you have enjoyed our webinar as much as we have enjoyed hosting this webinar for you. Remember, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from the failure. Work hard, have some fun, make history. We look forward to seeing you again in our next webinar. Keep the spirit up, stay safe, keep well, and we will see you again. Thank you. Terima kasih, share, and nandri.